Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for tonight's History Maker Baseball game. My name is Dave Little, and I am coming to you live from the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network here in the Dave Cave. And it is History Maker Baseball, and this is the finals of the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament, pitting the 2003 White Sox against the 2005 Padres. Tonight we bring you Game 1 of the series. It will be best 2 out of 3. Game 1 will be played here in Petco Park in San Diego, hosted by the 82-win San Diego Padres. Game 2, and if necessary, Game 3 will be back in Chicago, hosted by the White Sox. It has been a fun run through this tournament, and both these teams are geared up and ready for action as we begin the finals tonight with somewhat of a pitching mismatch. The White Sox start their ace, 21-game winner Esteban Loiaza, who posted a fine 2.70 ERA in 2003. This guy can deal. And of course, after he retired, we saw what else that he was able to deal, as he's had some issues with drug trafficking. But tonight we're here to celebrate the performance on the field. And Loiaza is the guy who is large and in charge here. He will face Adam Eaton for the Padres. Their number 4 starter, 11-5 with a 4.27 ERA on the season. The hot hitter for the White Sox is Carlos Lee, who in the final game of the Reds series went 3 for 5 with a home run and 4 runs batted in. Joe Creedy took an offer in that game, and he'll be your cold guy tonight. For the Padres, the hot hitter will be Khalil Green, who also went 3 for 5 with a home run in the Padres series-ending victory over St. Louis. And Ramon Hernandez took an offer in that game, and he will be the cold guy. We made an executive decision to bring both teams into this series with a mood of semi-harmonious, just to make things interesting. The White Sox got nothing out of the game day charts. Unfortunately for the Padres, their stellar hot-hitting second baseman Mark Loretta is out of the lineup tonight with injury, thanks to the game day charts. The weather here in San Diego is neutral because it is always sunny in Southern California. Petco Park is the venue for tonight. It is a semi-big ballpark for both righties and lefties with a grass surface. And your umpires for this World Series, for this final round of the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament. At home plate, my good friend and traveling buddy on most of these baseball journeys, Jim Browning. At first base, one of the deans of broadcasting in YouTube land, Ron Juckett. And his good pal, Dave Gardner, will be umpiring at third base. And at second base, of course, the one and only founding father of History Maker Baseball, the man, the myth, the legend, Keith Avalone. Those are your umpires for tonight's ball game. And before we take you to the starting lineups, a quick summary of the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament if you're watching this for the very first time. In 2016, I completed my life's journey of seeing every major league team in its home ballpark. And of those 31 teams, there were 31 because I saw the Montreal Expos and also the Washington Nationals. I added a second Cincinnati Reds squad to make it a 32-team bracket, and these are the final 2 teams. The Padres won the National League bracket with a 2-0 series win over the surprising 1997 St. Louis Cardinals. And Game 2 of that series was a 9-8 slugfest, which was won by the Padres to advance. But they used up pretty much their whole bullpen. And in terms of bullpen availability tonight, everybody is available. Akinori Otsuka can only go 1 2/3 innings. Everybody else is available for at least 2. The White Sox got here by defeating the aforementioned 2010 Cincinnati Reds in a thrilling series sweep. And they have Tom Gordon for one inning only tonight, but the rest of the bullpen is available for at least 2 innings. And with that, we take you to tonight's starting lineups, as Brandon Baker is here in the chat room. Thank you, Brandon, for coming out tonight. First, for your visiting Chicago White Sox, the center fielder will be the gold-rated outfielder and leadoff hitter Aaron Rowand. Batting second, the hot-hitting Carlos Lee, and he has been a hot hitter for the White Sox throughout the latter stages of this tournament. Miguel Ordonez also had a big night in the final game of the Red Series. He bats third and plays right field. Since we are in a National League ballpark, there will be no designated hitter tonight, so Frank Thomas will play first base and occupy his customary spot in the cleanup role. Joe Creedy plays third base and bats fifth. He's the cold guy tonight. Tony Graffinino back in the lineup, bats sixth and plays second base. Jose Valentin is your shortstop, batting seventh. Batting eighth is your catcher, Miguel Olivo. Interestingly, Olivo is also a member of the 2005 Padres as a backup catcher, so we may see some Olivo versus Olivo matchups in this series. And of course, batting ninth, your starting pitcher, Esteban Loiaza. For the homestanding Padres, Dave Roberts leads off and bats center field. Khalil Green plays shortstop and bats second, moving up in the lineup to replace the injured Mark Loretta, who customarily bats in the two-hole. Brian Giles has been an offensive machine for the Padres throughout this tournament. He bats third and plays right field. Ramon Hernandez is your cleanup hitter and the catcher tonight. First baseman Mark Sweeney bats fifth. Geoff Blum gets the start at third base, batting sixth. Ryan Klesko plays left field and bats seventh. Damien Jackson moves from third base over to second, and he will bat number 8. And your pitcher and number 9 hitter is Adam Eaton. That covers all of the particulars for tonight's ball game, and I think we are now ready for action. So let's play ball here in the finals of the best team I've ever seen tournament. And leading things off, it is Aaron Rowand standing in against Adam Eaton. The White Sox hoping to do damage to Eaton early and get into that tired Padre bullpen. But the Padres hoping Eaton can last at least long enough to get them into the later innings. The first pitch of the game to Aaron Rowand is a 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes. And the opening series of the finals is underway with a strikeout. And that brings to the plate hot-hitting Carlos Lee for Chicago. Lee stands in against Eaton. The pitch is a 4-4-6. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is none of those. And Carlos Lee gets the first hit of the finals with a single to right field. So the hot hitting continues for Carlos Lee, and he will be at first base with one man out for the number 3 hitter, Miguel Ordonez. And that will take us to our player experience chart. Adam Eaton is neutral on the pitching experience. Miguel Ordonez is a semi-icon. And on a roll of 2-6, do we have an icon pitcher? No. So he is not experienced with the batter, and the batter drops a single over second base. And on a lead die of 2, runners advance 1 base on the single. Just gets that one over the glove of Damien Jackson, and it will be runners on first and second now, still with 1 out, for the cleanup hitter and first baseman tonight, Frank Thomas. White Sox hoping to do damage early as Thomas stands in. 2-3-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a double control or dynamic? No, he is not. Is the pitcher batting? No, he is not. And that is a base on balls. So the bases are loaded with only one out as Joe Creedy comes to the plate against Adam Eaton. Creedy is your cold guy for tonight, as you recall. Eaton is a semi-workman, semi-flash, semi-control. And we have 3 consecutive on bases. So Adam Eaton is now a semi-struggler. Trouble already in the first inning for the Padres starter. And the pitch to Creedy is a 2.56. Is the pitcher a struggler? He's a semi-struggler, and the decider die says yes, and that's going to be a base hit to left. Runners advance 1 base on singles with a lead die of 2. So everybody moves up a base, and quickly the White Sox have taken a 1-0 lead. And that makes Adam Eaton a full struggler until he gets a batter out. But they're going to leave him out there. He won't be pulled on a mandatory ruling until he's given up 5 runs. But a grand slam here, and that's all she wrote for Adam Eaton. As Tony Graffinino stands in. Graffinino's shown a little pop in this series, in this tournament, and he is a semi-slugger. But the roll is another 2.56. Is the pitcher a struggler? He's a full struggler now. And that is another base hit, and another run will score for the White Sox. And the White Sox are threatening to blow this one open here in the top of the first inning. Once again, everybody moves up a base, and that brings up Jose Valentin, with Eaton now in the status of full struggler. Only 1 man out. The base is loaded and 2 runs in for Chicago. The pitch to Valentin is a 2.22. Is the batter a sad sack? No, he is not. And that is a double to center field. And on this roll, an active runner can score from first on a double, but Graffinino is a neutral runner, so he will hold up at third. And it is a 2-run double for Jose Valentin. Frank Thomas will score. Joe Creedy will score. Graffinino pulls in at third. Jose Valentin claps his hands at second base, and it is a 4-0 ball game. With Miguel Olivo at the plate, still bases, runners at second and third now. Still just 1 out. The first man of the inning went out. Since then, we have seen 6 straight men reach base. Here's Olivo. 2.45 is the roll. Is the batter a hero? He is not. And that is a pop out to second base. So that's a big out for Adam Eaton. As second baseman Damien Jackson moves under that one, the runners will hold up. And with 2 outs now, the batter will be Esteban Loiaza. And that will take us to the player experience chart, where Loiaza is a semi-icon. And on the player experience chart, the roll is a 2-3. Do we have a prospect pitcher? No. And the result of that play is a ground out to second base. So the White Sox bat around in the first as Loiaza grounds out to end the inning. And going into the bottom of the first, it's the White Sox 4 and the Padres nothing as we say good evening to Tribe Fan 879. How you doing, my man? Welcome to the finals of the best team I've ever seen tournament. It is the 2003 Chicago White Sox, who have jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning against the 2005 Padres. And now as the Padres come to bat for the very first time, Loiaza will face the top of the order, Dave Roberts, Khalil Green, and Brian Giles. Eaton survives the first inning, and according to the fatigue rules I use, which come from Stratomatic, he will be pulled if he gives up 2 runs in the second. It's 5 in 1 inning, 6 in 2 innings, 7 in 3 innings will be the criteria by which a starter will be pulled. And the Padres need some innings out of Eaton because they still have some bullpen usage issues. And so it's incumbent upon the Padres offense to get something going here against the ace for the White Sox, Esteban Loiaza. Dave Roberts leads off with a 2-5. Is the pitcher a star? He is a full star, and that will be a ground out to third base. Joe Creedy makes the play for the first out of the inning. And that brings to the plate the number 2 hitter and hot batter for tonight, Khalil Green. The pitch to Green is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Green the hot batter? Yes, he is. And that is going to take us to the fence check. Green is a semi-slugger. The decider die says no, so he will play off of the regular fence charts. But on a roll of 6, he hits that ball all the way out of the ballpark. So how about that? Khalil Green takes Esteban Loiaza out of the yard, and there is hope springing here at Petco Park. Khalil Green with a 1-out home run makes it a 4-1 ball game. And that brings to the plate Brian Giles, the best hitter on the Padres team. Here comes Giles. The roll is a 2-3-4. Runners on base? No. Is Giles the hot batter? He is not. So that will be a pop out to third base for the second out of the inning. And that will bring to the plate the cleanup hitter for San Diego, Ramon Hernandez. Hernandez takes a look at a 3-4-6. Is the batter eager? He is eager, and that is a fly out to center field, and that will end the inning. But the Padres do get a run to make it a 4-1 ball game as Chicago returns to bat here in the second inning, and once again it will be the top of the order with Aaron Rowan to lead things off. Rowan struck out his first at bat, standing in once again against Eaton. And the roll is a 3-5-6. Are the batter and pitcher the same? Yes, they are, and that's another strikeout for Rowan. And that brings Carlos Lee to the plate. Lee got things started with a base hit in the top of the first to put the wheels in motion for the White Sox. And here in the second, he looks at a 2-2-5. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a slugger or a sad sack? He is a semi-slugger, but the decider die says no. And the result of this roll is going to be another single for Carlos Lee as he takes one back up the middle. For another base hit. And that brings Maglio Ordonez back to the plate, as Ordonez looks to keep things going for the White Sox here in inning number 2. Ordonez takes a look at a 2-3-3. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a slugger? He is a full slugger, and that is a home run to left field. Maglio Ordonez goes out of the yard, and that makes it a 6-1 ball game as Ordonez goes deep. And that is going to be the end of the night for Adam Eaton, who goes only 1 1/3 innings. And it is going to be Johnny Holstaff time for San Diego, as the fans here in Petco Park are in distress. Woody Williams only went an inning and 2/3 in Game 2 of the St. Louis series. So in spite of the fact that the Padres had a day off, their bullpen is still in some trouble. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to make an executive decision here. And I am going to come back with potentially the number 3 starter. Let's take a look at this. Brian Lawrence is a starting pitcher who will not be needed in this series. So we may use him in relief. I think that would be reasonable, but we do have better options with innings available in the Padres bullpen, and we don't want to pull the plug right away. We've got Chris Hammond, who is a lefty. He is a control pitcher, not an ace or a star, but he is available for as many as 3 innings if we need him. We also have Scott Linebrink available for 3 innings, and he is an ace, as well as a flash and a semi-control. Coming to plate, we have righty Thomas Creedy and Graffinino. Linebrink is your setup guy and really your best available relief pitcher in the bullpen. So I think you save him and you come with Chris Hammond to see what he can do here in the second inning. So Eaton heads to the showers. Chris Hammond comes in to pitch, and Hammond will bat in the number 9 position in the lineup. And now with 2 runs in and 1 man out, nobody on base in the top of the second, Frank Thomas is your batter, and Chris Hammond is on in relief in inning number 2. And this is not the start that the Padres wanted for this game, or for that matter for the championship series. So here's Frank Thomas. 2-2-2 is the pitch. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And Thomas swings and hits a ball into the gap in right center field, and that is going to go for a double. So the hit parade continues for San Diego. For the White Sox, as Frank Thomas doubles, and another man is in scoring position for the number 5 hitter, Joe Crede. Crede is, of course, your cold batter for the White Sox tonight, and he takes a look at a 2-5. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a slugger or a sad sack? He is a semi-slugger, and the decider die says yes. Is he a whiffer? No. So that is going to go as a pop out to right field. Hits that ball into short right field. Brian Giles moves under it and makes the catch, and it will be Frank Thomas returning to second base with now 2 outs in the inning and Tony Graffinino at the plate. Here's Graffinino. 2-5-6 is the pitch. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter a champion or patient? No. That takes us to the infield drama chart. To the drama charts we go for the first time tonight. What's going to happen to the Padres now? They haven't seen much luck so far. Now they're going to get a roll of 5-6. Is the first baseman Gold? Mark Sweeney is your first baseman tonight. He is a normal fielder. So the poor throw from the infielder goes over the head of the first baseman, and the batter is safe at first on the error. So we'll charge the error to Khalil Green on the play. Make that a throwing error on Khalil Green. Frank Thomas moves up to third, and Tony Graffinino is safe at first on the error. And with 2 men on and 2 men out, that brings Jose Valentin to the plate. Valentin had that big 2-run double in the first inning, and he's got a chance to do some more damage here in inning number 2. With 2 on and 2 out against Chris Hammond, it's a 2-2-6. Is the batter hit by the pitch? The decider die says no. Is this a cleanup batter? No. Is he a whiffer? Yes, and that is a strikeout. So Hammond gets Jose Valentin with a nasty breaking ball, and that will end the second, but more damage has been done by the White Sox. Another crooked number. 2 runs, and it is now a 6-1 ball game. On we go to the bottom of the second, with Esteban Loiaza now comfortably on the mound with the 5 lead, as he will face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Mark Sweeney, Geoff Blum, and Ryan Klesko. Sweeney leads off, and it is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion hitter? No. And we're going to go to the outfield drama chart for this role. And on the outfield drama chart, it's going to be a check of the center field. That's Aaron Rowan. He is a stellar defender. He is certainly not iron. So he will make a running grab of a looping line drive for the first out of the inning. Rowan has gotten nothing done at the plate, but he does make a nice running catch on that ball for the first out here in the bottom of the second. And that will bring to the plate Geoff Blum. The pitch to Blum is a 1-4-4. Is the pitcher a flash? Loiaza is a full flash, and that goes as a strikeout. Unless we have a questionable umpire at the plate. Jim Browning is semi-questionable. The decider die says no, so he will call strike 3, and he will ring up Geoff Blum for the second out of the inning. And that brings to the plate Ryan Klesko. Klesko had a big home run earlier in the tournament to help the Padres get to the championship series. Let's see if he can do anything against Loiaza. It's a 3-4-4. Is the pitcher a prospect? No. Is the batter patient? He is patient, and that will be a walk. So Klesko works the walk. And with 2 outs and now a runner on first base, up to the plate comes second baseman Damien Jackson. Jackson will take a look at a 2-5-6. The pitcher is not a struggler. Is the batter a champion or patient? No. And back we go to the infield drama chart. What's going to happen to Chicago on this roll? The roll is a 1-5. Is the shortstop iron? I don't think so. That is Jose Valentin. He is semi-gold. So he will not misplay the hot grounder. He will make the smooth grab of the bouncing ball and deliver it to first base for the third out of the inning. Score that 6-3 on your putout. And through 2 complete, it is Chicago 6, San Diego 1. Quick drink of that cool, refreshing Petco Park water as we head to inning number 3. And Miguel Olivo to lead things off against Chris Hammond. Hammond out here for his second inning of work. He will be semi-fresh in this inning number 3. And his first pitch is a 1-3-5, and that's going to take us to the mini charts for the first time tonight. And on a black 1, that is going to take us to the ballpark qualities. This is a semi-big ballpark, and the field is grass. And on a roll of 3-3, is it a small ballpark? No. So that will be a fly out to the warning track. So Olivo put a charge into one, but the big ballpark held it as center fielder Dave Roberts runs under to make the play for the first out of the inning. And that brings to the plate Esteban Loiaza. Grounded out his first time up. Not a horrible hitter. He's a semi-sad sack. And a scrapper. So he must have gotten at least one hit along the way for the White Sox in the 2003 season. As he takes a look at a 2-6-6. Is he the leadoff batter? No. That's going to be a fly out to right field. And with 2 outs now and this is empty, it is the strikeout king, Aaron Rowan. Rowan was taking a little razzing in the dugout from his teammates. And now he takes a look at a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says yes. And that is 3 strikeouts in 3 innings for Aaron Rowan. And he's going to hear it from his teammates this time. Somehow the White Sox have managed to put up 6 runs. Rowan has been to the plate 3 times in 3 innings and struck out all 3 times. What do they call that? The hat trick. And Rowan's going to have the rest of the game to look for the golden sombrero. But we go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's still a 6-1 ball game. And that will be all for Chris Hammond as the pitcher spot is leading off the inning. And we will see our first pinch hitter of the night for San Diego. And that will be the left-handed batting Rob Fick. So Rob Fick comes into the game, and we will need a pitcher in the top of the 4th. But Rob Fick is a lefty. He's batting against Loiaza here to lead off the 3rd. And the pitch is a 1-2-6. Is Loiaza fresh? It's the third inning. He's fresh, and that is a line drive out to second base, where Tony Graffinino didn't have to move to make that play. And with one out, that takes us back to the top of the order for the center fielder, Dave Roberts. Roberts takes a look at a 5-5-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That is a double to right field. So Dave Roberts gets around on one, pulls it down the right field line, and pulls into second base with a double to bring to the plate the hot hitter of the night, Khalil Green. Green provided the Padres' only run with that home run in the first inning, and he's looking to do some more damage and perhaps cut into this lead here in the bottom of the third. Green stepping in against Loiaza. The pitch is a 2-4-5. Is the batter a hero? He is not a hero, and that will be a pop out to second base. Roberts holds at second as Graffinino makes the catch, and that takes us to our player experience chart, where we have icon versus semi-icon. Brian Giles, a full icon batter. And on a roll of 2-6, do we have an icon pitcher? The decider die says no. So this is not a strikeout. The batter will drop a single over second base. And with a lead die of 2, an active runner will score. Dave Roberts is a semi-active runner. And the decider die says he is active, and with 2 outs, he would be running on anything. So that is going to go as an RBI single for Brian Giles. And it is now a 6-2 ball game with the cleanup hitter Ramon Hernandez coming to the plate. Hernandez, unfortunately, is the cold batter tonight for the Padres. Standing in against Loiaza, with the score now 6-2, and Brian Giles camped out at first base. The pitch to Hernandez is a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? He certainly is. And that will be a strikeout. So Loiaza comes back and blows away Ramon Hernandez to end the inning. But the Padres do get another run to cut the lead to 6-2, and we now need another pitcher for San Diego. Rob Fick will come out of the ball game. And trailing 6-2, let's take a look at our options as we go to the bullpen usage chart. Let's see what we got. Eaton went 1.1. Hammond went 1.2. We still have Linebrink, who is available to go as many as 3 innings. And we are in the top of the 4th, trailing by 4. I still don't want to burn Linebrink. We have Darryl May in the bullpen, but he is awful. So I don't want to use him. So this is where I will pull the trigger and bring the 4th starter, Brian Lawrence, into the game in relief. So this is World Series level competition, and Lawrence will be ineligible to pitch the rest of the series. I will obey the starting pitcher rules and at least make him sit for 3 days, or not. Who knows? Heck, we knew this was coming. We'll slide Lawrence into a regular bullpen slot. So Lawrence comes on to pitch. For San Diego. And he will occupy the number 9 hole in the batting order. And hopefully they'll get an inning or 2 out of Lawrence. And hopefully he will keep the game close. But he's got a tall order to deal with as the number 2 batter and hot hitter of the night, Carlos Lee, stands in to lead things off for the White Sox. The pitch to Lee is 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. And that is a strikeout. So Carlos Lee strikes out. Big out for Lawrence to retire Lee, who is already 2 for 2 on the night. And that brings to the plate Miguel Ordonez and takes us to the Baseball Right Now chart. Ordonez homered in his last at bat, so he will be considered semi-hot. And Brian Lawrence is also semi-hot, having struck out the last batter he faced. And as we go to the Right Now chart, it is a 6-6. Do we have a hot batter? He is semi-hot, and the decider die, unfortunately, says no. So this is not a home run, but this will be a fence drive. There's a drive to center field and a fence check. Ordonez is a full slugger. So as we go to the fence check, this will be a double, a triple, or a home run, and on a roll of 3, that is going to be off the top of the wall for a triple. Miguel Ordonez legs out a triple, and he is standing at third base now with 1 out, and the infield will be forced to come in with Frank Thomas coming to the plate. So that is single, triple, homer for Ordonez. We may see a cycle yet in this tournament. We almost saw one from Mark Loretta, and we may see one from Miguel Ordonez here tonight. But right now the job is Frank Thomas with the infield in, and the pitch to Thomas is a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter, let's see, nothing in the batter's column. That is going to be a ground out to first base. And with the infield in and a lead die of 1, the runner holds. So another big out for Brian Lawrence as Blum makes the clean pickup of the ground ball. Looks the runner back at third. On first. Runners on the corners now for Tony Graffinino. Lawrence let that one get away. And now there are runners at the corners for Graffinino with 2 outs. And the pitch is a 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? This is Lawrence's first inning of work, so he is fresh, and that will be a line out to second base to end the inning. So the Padres dodge a bullet there, and after 3.5, it is still a 6-2 ball game. Still time for the Padres to climb back into this one if they can get some offense going against Esteban Loiaza, as he will face 5, 6, and 7, Sweeney, Blum, and Klesko for the Padres. Here's the pitch to Sweeney. It's a 3-4-6. Is the batter eager? No. That's a base on balls. So a leadoff walk for Mark Sweeney, and you do not want to let that happen when you're pitching with a big lead. But Sweeney is now at first. That takes us to the team chemistry chart with no out. Both teams semi-harmonious coming into this game. And the pitch is a 4-5. Do we have batting team harmony? The decider die says yes. The focus batter waits on the pitch and draws the base on balls. So Loiaza has walked the first 2 men here in the inning. And it is the Padres making some noise with Ryan Klesko coming to the plate. Klesko has plenty of pop in his bat. He's a semi-home run king. And he can put the Padres back in this ball game with 1 swing of the bat if he gets a pitch he likes. The pitch from Loiaza is a 1-2-4. Is he a control pitcher? He is a full control pitcher. Oh my goodness, that is a ground out to shortstop. And on a lead die of 1, that is a double play. 6-4-3 goes the double play. Mark Sweeney moves over to third base. But there are 2 men out now, and Damien Jackson is at the plate representing the Padres' last hope to cut into the lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Pitch to Jackson is a 2-2-4. Is the pitcher at home? No, he is not. Is the batter a slugger? He is not. That is a single to right field. That's going to score Mark Sweeney and make it a 6-3 ball game. So Sweeney scores to make it 6-3. And Jackson holds up at first base to bring the pitcher's spot to the plate. And Brian Lawrence will be taken down, but he gave the Padres a scoreless inning and a little extra help to the back end of the bullpen, as we need another pinch hitter for San Diego with Jackson at first and now 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. They probably want somebody with a little pop in the bat. And they are going to come with Phil Nevin. Phil Nevin will be your pinch hitter. Esteban Loiaza. Bottom of the 4th inning, 2 outs. And that takes us back to our standard pitching chart instead of the right now chart, as we've had a substitution. Here's Nevin. The pitch is a 3-4-6. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager. The decider die says no. So he doesn't hit a fly out to center field. Instead, he draws another walk. That is the 3rd walk given up by Loiaza in the inning, as he has suddenly lost control of his control. And now with 2 on and 2 out, we're back to the top of the order for Dave Roberts. How is Loiaza doing? Single walk, and 2 batters ago was the double play. So Loiaza is not yet a struggler. But if Dave Roberts reaches the plate, reaches base on this play, that will make Loiaza a semi-struggler. Chemistry chart. Both teams semi-harmonious. And the roll is a 2-6. Do we have batting team harmony? The decider die says yes, and that is another base hit, as Roberts chops a single. And let's see what happens on a lead die of 2. Runners advance 1 base on singles, 2 bases on doubles. Active runners score from second base. Damien Jackson is a semi-active runner. The decider die says that he is not an active runner, so he'll be forced to hold up at third. And everybody moves up a base. As we say hello to Big Clue in the chat room. Welcome to Game 1 of the Championship Series of the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament. It has been an interesting night. The 2003 Chicago White Sox jumped out to a 4-0 lead, then a 6-1 lead. San Diego Padres from 2005 are pecking away at that lead. And with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, they have just loaded the bases for the hot-hitting Khalil Green. And Esteban Loiaza is now a semi-struggler. But I think we're going to give Loiaza one more chance to get out of this inning. Although action is beginning, as there are a couple of pitchers throwing up in the Chicago bullpen. See what I did there? Okay, here's Khalil Green against Loiaza. And the pitch is a 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh, and the decider die says yes. So that will be a line out to second base. And that ends the inning. Goodness gracious, the decider die was kind to the White Sox in that situation. As Tony Graffinino goes up the ladder to snag that line drive for the final out of the inning. But the Padres draw ever closer. It's now a 6-3 ball game as we head to inning number 5. And let's see, we are going to need a new pitcher for the Padres as Phil Nevin comes out of the lineup. The pitcher will go into the number 9 hole. And as the game draws closer, we're going to get a better pitcher out here for the Padres. So Brian Lawrence pitched 1 inning of relief and somehow managed to hold Chicago scoreless. And now we are heading into inning number 5, and it is the bottom of the order for the White Sox. So let's see who the Padres have available in this situation. I think now we are going to go with we're going to go with Rudy Siena because he can go 2 full innings if they need him. Otsuka is limited to an inning and 2/3, and we would have to pull him in the middle of the next inning, which we would prefer not to do. So Lawrence comes out. Siena takes the mound. Siena stays in the game in the number 9 batting position. And Siena is on the mound and ready to face Jose Valentin to lead things off for Chicago. Siena is a semi-ace, and he is a double flash. So we may see some excitement here in Petco Park if Siena gets his hummer humming. And welcome to Tenacious Strat. Good to see you, man. And ID Jester. The gang's all here in the chat room for the championship series of the best team I've ever seen baseball tournament. It's a 6-3 ball game as we start the top of the 5th with Jose Valentin leading off for the White Sox. The pitch to Valentin is a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. That is going to be a ground out to first base. Mark Sweeney will take that one himself. Score that 3 unassisted for the first out of the inning. And up to the plate comes Miguel Olivo. Olivo stands in against Siena. The pitch is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? He's a semi-ace, but the decider die says no. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a whiffer, and that is a strikeout. And that brings Esteban Loiaza to the plate. He's pitched 4 innings so far, so he's still got freshness. He struggled a bit in the 4th, but they're going to let him stay out there. And they're going to let him stand in against Rudy Siena here in the top of the 5th. Still with a 3-run lead, bases empty and 2 outs. And the pitch is a 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? Of course he is, and that is another strikeout. So 2 Ks for Siena in the 5th inning. And for the first time tonight, the Padres go up and down 1-2-3. Loiaza comes out to the mound for the bottom of the 5th, his 5th inning of work. And he will be facing the heart of the order. Brian Giles, the number 3 hitter, to lead things off. And Giles looks at a 2-4-6. Is Loiaza a control pitcher? He is full control. And the result of that is going to be a comebacker to the mound. Loiaza saws off Brian Giles, who hits a weak dribbler back to the mound. Loiaza picks it up and makes the easy flip over to Frank Thomas at first base for the first out of the inning. And that brings to the bat the cleanup hitter, Ramon Hernandez. Hernandez, your cold batter tonight for the Padres. And he looks at a 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? No. Is he a whiffer? No. That's a ground out to third base. So after struggling in the 4th, Loiaza is cruising in the 5th with Mark Sweeney headed to the plate with the bases empty and nobody out. And 2 outs. And on a 1-4-6, is the pitcher a flash? Indeed he is. That's another strikeout. And Loiaza blows away the Padres here in inning number 5. Okay, we are through inning number 5. As I take another drink of that yummy Petco Park water. And as I mentioned, game number 2 will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock here on the Epic Sports game number 2 will be Sunday at 4 o'clock on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. Because as you know, if you follow the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, Saturday is Heartland Championship Wrestling Day. So tomorrow we will have Heartland Championship Wrestling from Phoenix, Arizona, featuring West Coast Championship Wrestling. The superstars of Ring of Honor will be in action with the new Ring of Honor champion, Adam Cole, defending his title in a rematch against the former champion, Jay Lethal. So be sure to tune into that show tomorrow. We'll also have a big number 1 contenders match for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship as the Christ brothers, Dave and Jake Christ, also known as OI4K, or Ohio versus Everything if you watch TNA Impact Wrestling. They will be taking on the controversial team of Kyle O'Reilly and Bob Fish, Red Dragon, with a title shot on the line. And in our third event tomorrow, it will be a grudge match as Jay Briscoe, part of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, takes on Team Takeover member Donovan Dijak in a no disqualification grudge match. So that will be Saturday. Sunday on the channel will be Game 2 of the Best Team I've Ever Seen Tournament Championship Series. And if necessary, we'll see Game 3 on Monday. So that is your wrap-up for the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network this weekend. And yes, sir, Tenacious Strat, this is a screencast device where I've got my tablet PC here on the tabletop, and it is connected by USB to the laptop using a free app on the laptop called Visor, V-Y-Z-O-R. Visor takes the data from the tablet and transmits it to a window on the computer screen, and then the OBS broadcaster software that I use picks up that window and portrays it next to the webcam view of the tabletop. All right, top of the sixth, top of the order. Aaron Rowan is at the plate with an opportunity to get the golden sombrero against Padres reliever Rudy Siena. Siena is out here for his final inning of work. And the pitch to Rowan is a 1-3-3. Is the batter a slugger? He is not. And the result is going to be a fly out to left field. So finally, Rowan gets a hold of one. It's an easy fly out, but his teammates on the bench are quieted after the razzing that they gave him for striking out in innings 1, 2, and 3. Next up is the hot batter, Carlos Lee. The pitch to Carlos Lee is a 2-2-4. Is CNS pitching at home? Yes, he is. That's going to be a pop out to shortstop. And the hot hitter for, well, he's not the hot batter, but the big stick for Chicago tonight has been Maglio Ordonez. He is 3 for 3 with a single, a triple, and a home run. And he is looking at a chance for the cycle if he can connect on a double here. The pitch is a 2-4-5. Is he a hero? No. And that is going to be a pop out to second base to end the inning. So Ordonez is disappointed here in the top of the sixth. He'll have one more crack at it at least later in the ball game. But another perfect inning for Rudy Siena. And it is now the bottom of the sixth and still a 6-3 ball game. That will be all for Rudy Siena as he has used up his innings, and he will be ineligible for Game 2 of the series because he has pitched a total of 4 innings over the last 3 games, and the fatigue rules from the Stratomatic tournament fatigue system I use say you're limited to 4 innings every 4 games. So Siena did his job tonight, but he will be out of action in Sunday's Game 2. And he is the scheduled number 4 batter in this inning, so hopefully they will be able to pinch hit for him. If not, we'll have to see a double switch. But to lead off the bottom of the sixth, we're going to go to the player experience chart, where the semi-icon Geoff Blum will bat against the semi-icon pitcher Esteban Loiaza. And the roll is 1-3. Do we have a prospect pitcher? No. And that's going to be a ground out to third base. And that's going to bring to the plate Ryan Klesko with the bases empty and 1 out. Here's Klesko against Loiaza. 3-3-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That's going to go as a single to right. So Klesko gets around on 1 and pulls it into right field for his first hit of the ball game. He'll pull in at first base for the number 8 hitter and second baseman tonight, Damien Jackson. Here's Jackson, 1 for 2 on the night against Loiaza, and the pitch from Loiaza is a 2-3-6. Is he a double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. And that's a base on balls. So runners at first and second now as the pitcher's slot is up, and we're going to go to another pinch hitter for San Diego, and they're going to look for a good one because whoever comes up now is carrying the tying run to the plate. And they are going to bring up their semi-hero, semi-home run king, Xavier Nady. Loiaza is not yet a semi-struggler. He's given up 2 on bases in a row. If he gives up a third consecutive on base, that will make him a semi-struggler. And in the 6th inning, that would be the indication that I'm going to pull the trigger and bring somebody in out of the bullpen. But for now, here is Nady. The pitch to Nady is a 5.66. Is the pitcher wild? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. That is a strikeout. And a big one for Esteban Loiaza as he blows away Xavier Nady for the 2nd out of the inning. The runners hold up at their respectable bases. And that takes us to the baseball right now chart with Dave Roberts at bat. It is the 6th inning, and in the 6th inning, all the right now charts become full qualities instead of semi-qualities. Loiaza struck out the last man he faced. That makes him hot. Dave Roberts got a hit his last time at the plate. That makes him hot. So hot pitcher, hot batter, baseball right now chart. And the roll is a 3-4. Do we have a cold batter? No. So instead of a weak dribbler to the pitcher, we get a fly out to right field. And that ends the inning and ends the threat for the Padres. So the Padres threaten but do not score in the 6th. Xavier Nady comes out of the ball game, and we will need yet another reliever for San Diego. And now I think is the time in the ball game where we go to the middle relief ace, and Scott Linebrink. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Linebrink is available for as many as 3 innings if they need him, but I don't think they'll pitch him 3 because that would burn him out totally for Game 2 of the series. But Linebrink is the guy that's going to pitch at least the 7th for San Diego to try and keep this game close. And he is going to face the heart of the Chicago lineup in Frank Thomas, Joe Crede, and Tony Graffinino, 4, 5, and 6. Tenacious Strat says, I think the pregame roles would add a lot to a semi-fictional league. This is true. And we did have a pregame role in this game that took Mark Loretta out of the lineup, the Padres second baseman, with an injury. In tournament play, all injuries are 1 game. But yeah, that could have been an injury that lasted more than 1 game. And History Maker Baseball is a fun little game. It's not the statistically accurate, mathematical model of Stratomatic or APA or some of the more robust game engines. But this game tells great stories, and I have really enjoyed. This is now the game number 72 of History Maker Baseball that I have played in this tournament, and I have enjoyed every one of them. And I will bid farewell to History Maker Baseball with a fondness in my heart. And in fact, today, during some downtime at work, I put in my order for History Maker Golf, which is going to be my next side project on the tabletop. So here's Frank Thomas leading off against Linebrink. Let me be sure and bring Linebrink into the game. He will stay in the number 9 hole in the lineup as he faces Thomas here to open up inning number 7. The pitch from Linebrink is a 2.55. Is the pitcher a star? He's not. Is the batter a home run king? He is a semi-home run king, and this time the decider die says no, and that goes as a fly out to left field. And that is out number 1 in the inning. Next up is Joe Creedy. Creedy facing line break, the cold guy for tonight. Creedy looks at a 2-3-6. Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. The result is a base on balls. Creedy draws a walk to put a base runner on for Tony Graffinino. Creedy not a threat to steal as he is a stoic runner. So the pitch to Graffinino is a 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? No. That is going to be, let's see, is the batter a whiffer? The decider die says no. And the end result of this roll is a ground out to third base, and on a lead die of 1, that's a double play. And that is going to end the top of the 7th for the White Sox, and that is going to take us to our 7th inning stretch. And with tonight's rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, I am going to turn the microphone over to a very faithful fan of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, Brandon Baker. So while Brandon sings Take Me Out to the Ball Game, I will take another drink of this fine Petco Park water and loosen up the pipes for the finishing stretch of tonight's ball game. Thank you, Brandon, for that thrilling rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Let me catch up on the questions here. Big Clue: have you any of the all-time franchise series teams or the Cooperstown sets? Big Clue: I have not played either of those. In fact, when I got the game, it came with 4 stock teams: the 75 Reds, the 75 Red Sox, and a couple other teams. I don't remember who else. But my goal with this tournament was to recreate the history of all of the games I've seen in live ballpark action throughout my tours of the big leagues. So all the teams you're seeing here tonight are teams that I created with the extra rules that History Maker Baseball provides. But I haven't played with any of the other historical sets. But yeah, they do seem perfect for this kind of fun first game. And, oh, good, we got Marimba from Brandon Baker for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And, yeah, here we go. So, let's see, it is the bottom of the 7th now. So, Esteban Loiaza is no longer fresh. And he has struggled a bit here in the last couple of innings. So, we are going to go ahead and bring on a reliever for the White Sox. Loiaza will bat, or the pitcher spot is scheduled to bat 3rd in the next inning. So I don't think we'll make a double switch, but we're going to bring in deliberately a 1-inning reliever to face 2, 3, and 4. Let's see who is available. If I recall correctly, Tom Gordon is available only for 1 inning. Everybody else can go at least 1 or at least 2 or more. So if we want somebody to face 2, 3, and 4, I am going to go with the relief ace, the middle relief ace for the White Sox, Damaso Marte. Marte can pitch this inning, and then we will pinch hit for him in the 8th. So Loiaza comes down, Damaso Marte comes into the game. And we will also put Marte into the number 9 hole in the batting order for now. And it will be the lefty, but the ace middle reliever, Damaso Marte, facing Khalil Green, who is your hot hitter for tonight. As Green faces off against Marte and takes a look at a 4-4-5. Is the pitcher a workman? No. Is the batter patient? No. That's a ground out to first base. Score that 3-1 in your scorebook. And that brings to the plate the best hitter on the Padres, but a left-handed batter in Brian Giles. So lefty against left-hand batter as Marte delivers a 1-3-5. Back we go to random events charts. As Ty States, my good buddy, has added a photo in Baseball Gaming Extravaganza. Ty States, good guy. Sports writer, baseball historian, big wrestling fan. I met wrestling weekend a number of years ago and have maintained a friendship with him ever since in both the wrestling fan world and the sports simulations world. So we've got a 1-3-5 here to deal with. Red 1, black 3. Memorable plays in the field. So let's see what is going to happen here with Brian Giles hitting a ball to the outfield. And on a roll of 5-6 is the first baseman iron. Frank Thomas is your first baseman tonight. Normally the designated hitter, but he has a normal fielding rating, so he must have gotten enough done to avoid the iron distinction. An iron first baseman would let the easy throw get by for an error of the two-base variety. Otherwise, the batter's out at first. So Frank Thomas makes the play as we score that 1-3 on the putout. Marte fields the comebacker, throws wildly to Thomas, but Thomas is able to get back to the bag. Actually went up in the air, caught the ball, and tagged the runner passing the base on his way to record the out. But in the scorebook, that will just go as a 1-3 putout. And Ramon Hernandez is your batter with 2 outs and nobody on base. Here is Hernandez. The pitch is a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? Heck yes, he's a flash, and that's a strikeout. So Hernandez goes out for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Damaso Marte. He pitched 1 inning and did a great job with it. Tenacious Strat. Keith really hit the nail on the head with the fictitious sets. They play very well with the way the games generate things like injuries, and until further notice, quality adds and subtractions. Yeah, that's a great point. I have never been big on fictitious sets for any of the sports I play. I like playing, real games with the real guys, and just never really connected with fictitious sets. But among other people, Steve Tower does a beautiful job with fictitious History Maker baseball seasons, and it's fun to watch. But I like the real McCoy. Okay, so we're now at the top of the 8th, nobody out, and Scott Linebrink is on the mound, and I believe he's good for another inning of work. Yeah, he can go another inning. So Linebrink will remain on the mound. He'll be semi-fresh, and he'll face the bottom of the order in Valentin, Olivo, and a pinch hitter for the pitcher. So here's Valentin leading off the top of the 8th for the White Sox. Still leading 6-3. Things have quieted down since the fireworks of the opening innings, and we haven't seen any runs scored since inning number 4. Here's Valentin, 2-6-6 is the roll. Is he a leadoff batter? He's the leadoff batter of this inning, and that's a base hit up the middle. And up to the plate comes Miguel Olivo, right-handed batting catcher for the White Sox. Semi-utility, semi-eager, and a full whiffer. And on a 1-4-6, is the pitcher a flash? He is a full flash, and that is a strikeout. Valentin holds up. Let's see, Valentin is a normal runner. He could steal if he felt like it, and we'll keep that in mind. But right now we're going to have a pinch hitter for the pitcher coming off the White Sox bench. Let's see who got that can put the ball in play. And the go-to guy for pinch hitting is going to be Carl Everett. He is a semi-champion, semi-home run king, so he's got some pop in his bat. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time in this tournament because he's playing behind Aaron Rowan, who has that gold glove rating in the field in center. So Carl Everett will come to the plate with a chance to add some necessary insurance runs for the White Sox here in the 8th inning. So Linebrink sights the sign, looks in, lines and delivers to Everett. 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? He's a flash, and that's another strikeout. So Everett goes up and down on strikes. And here's Aaron Rowan looking for his opportunity at the Golden Sombrero. Rowan standing against Linebrink. 2-2-5 is the pitch. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a slugger or a sad sack? No. And the result is a single to center field. So Rowan gets his first hit of the night. And let's see, on a lead die of 2, the runners advance 1 base. And that brings to the plate the hot-hitting Carlos Lee. Linebreak has given up a couple of runners on base this inning, but he is not a struggler yet, so he is going to pitch to Lee. And the pitch is a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. And that is going to be a ground out to first base to end the inning. Sweeney will take that one himself. Score that 3 unassisted. And that is the end of the top of the 8th, with the score remaining 6-3 in favor of the White Sox. On to pitch inning number 8 for the White Sox. It will be their ace or their other setup guy is left-handed reliever Kelly Wunsch. Wunsch is available to go an inning or more if needed. But they've got their stopper Tom Gordon ready to go for inning number 9. So Wunsch will come on to pitch the 8th. And it will ostensibly be Tom Gordon to pitch the 9th. Okay, we're set to go with Wunsch facing off against Mark Sweeney, lefty against left-hand batter. And the pitch is a 1-1-2. Is the pitcher a flash? He certainly is, and that is a strikeout. And with 1 out now, that brings Geoff Blum to the plate. Wunsch delivers to Blum. It's a 1-2-4. Is he a control pitcher? No. Is the batter eager? No. Geoff Blum is going to draw the 1-out walk. So Wunsch allows his first base runner, and that's going to bring the left-handed hitting Ryan Klesko to the plate. Pitch to Klesko, 3-4-6. Is he eager? No. That's another walk. So Wunsch walks 2 batters consecutively here in inning number 8, and that is not what the Chicago White Sox want to see. As that brings to the plate the tying run in the person of Damien Jackson. And it takes us to our team chemistry chart. Both teams at semi-harmonious coming into this game. And the roll is a 1-2. Do we have batting team dissonance? No. Batting team dissonance would be called third striker out. Otherwise, it's a fence check. Jackson is not a power hitter, so he is on the normal fence check roll. So this is going to be at least a double. And on a roll of 3, that is going to be a double. Jackson doubles high off the wall in left center field. Geoff Blum will score. And let's see, on a lead die of 1, it will just be a, let's see, the Ryan Klesko is a stoic runner, so he will stop at third. So in play, it is a double. Blum will score. Klesko moves to third. Jackson holds up at second, and the tying run is now in scoring position with 1 out, and the pitcher spot at the plate. Kelly Wunsch is now a semi-struggler as he's allowed 3 men in a row to reach base. So we've got decisions to make on both sides now. Obviously, we're going to have a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and the Padres are going to have to announce their pinch hitter first before the White Sox will make their move. And let's see, the best available pinch hitter is, oh goodness, the backup catcher Miguel Olivo. So I mentioned earlier in the game, Miguel Olivo is on both these rosters, and he is a semi-champion, semi-slugger for the 2005 Padres, and he is a right-hand batter, so he will be announced as the pinch hitter for Linebreak. It's now time for the White Sox to make their move. And they are going to try for a righty out of the bullpen. Oh gosh, and they've got Struggler, Workman, Struggler. This is not good. Gary Glover is a semi-workman, and he is their best option. Unless we wanted to do a presto changeo and use John Garland. Let's see. I could use Bartolo Colon in this situation, but I won't, because he could start in Game 3. And if I use Colon here, I would have to use John Garland for the Game 3 starter, and he is not good. So it's going to be Gary Glover coming in for the White Sox to try and get out of trouble here in the bottom of the 8th. Wunsch is out. Gary Glover is in. And he is facing Miguel Olivo. Those of you who play History Maker Baseball know that when a reliever comes in the middle of an inning, he has the ace quality for the first hitter that he faces. So Glover will be an ace for this at bat, with runners at second and third, one man out. The infield is going to play normal depth. They will give up the run to get the out, because the most important run is standing out at second base, and you don't want to let Jackson move up on this play if you can avoid it. So here's the pitch to Olivo. The pitch is a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. That is a strikeout. And a big one for Gary Glover. Glover has a mediocre card, but he has had a couple of performances here in this tournament. And he got the biggest out of the tournament there with the strikeout of Miguel Olivo. And that is going to allow the infield to play back for the leadoff hitter, Dave Roberts. And that is going to take us to the Baseball Right Now chart. Roberts flied out in his last appearance, so he will be a normal batter. Glover got the strikeout, so he will be a hot pitcher. The pitch is a 2-6. Do we have a hot pitcher? Yes, we do. Overpowers his batter with the best pitch for a strikeout. So Glover comes on and strikes out two men to leave two runners in scoring position, and that is huge. And frustration for the Padres, as they could not get the tying run across despite having the runners in scoring position with only one man out. So we go to the top of the 9th. Miguel Olivo comes out of the game, and we will need a pitcher now for the Padres. Going back to our bullpen usage charts. Linebrink, I believe, pitched one inning. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or did Linebrink pitch 2, or did I miss somebody? Let's see what we got here for pitching. Home. Yeah, okay, Linebrink pitched 2 innings. And so, pitching in the 9th, we have Akinori Otsuka available for 1 inning. So Otsuka comes on to pitch the 9th. All right, top of the 9th, a 6-4 ball game, and the White Sox are looking for insurance runs. Maglio Ordonez to lead things off. Single homer, triple flyout. Chance at the cycle, but He's more concerned about just getting on base and getting run support for his bullpen. The pitch is a 1-2-3. Is the pitcher both flash and fresh? Absolutely yes. That is a strikeout. So Otsuka says, I got your cycle right here, buddy. Take 100 miles an hour on the inside corner and go grab some pine. And here is Frank Thomas with 1 out and no one on base. Thomas looks at a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? Yes, he is. That's another strikeout. Otsuka's blowing smoke coming in here in the 9th inning. And that brings Joe Creedy to the plate. 2 outs, bases empty. Creedy looks at a 3-5-6. Are the bat pitcher the same? Yes, they are. And that is another strikeout. Otsuka comes on and strikes out the side in the 9th. Very impressive performance. And now it comes all down to the bottom of the 9th. 2 to tie, 3 to win is the rally cry on the Chicago bench. But into the game for the White Sox is Tom Gordon, the closer. And he will face 2, 3, and 4, starting with the hot-hitting Khalil Green. He's your designated hot batter for the night, and he homered in the 1st inning. So he has got it going on here tonight as he stands in to face Tom Gordon, looking to start something for the Padres and possibly a game-winning rally here in the bottom of the 9th. 2-5-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher a star? He is, and that is a strikeout. So both 9th inning relievers coming in here throwing smoke. And that brings to the plate Brian Giles for San Diego. Giles 1 for 4 on the night. Looks at a 5-5-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That's a double to right field. Giles turns on one and sneaks it just down the first baseline under the glove of Frank Thomas and down the line. Giles makes the turn at first and pulls into second base with a double. And that puts the tying run at the plate in the person of the cleanup hitter Ramon Hernandez. Hernandez is your cold guy for the night. So that may play a factor in this at bat. But Gordon stands in and Hernandez is ready. 1-4-6 is the pitch. Is the pitcher a flash? That's another strikeout. So it comes down to Mark Sweeney at the plate carrying the tying run against Tom Gordon as Giles remains out at second base, clapping his hands and encouraging his teammate as Sweeney listens carefully to see if he can hear any pounding of any trash cans in the San Diego clubhouse. The pitch is a 1-4-6, and that is another strikeout. And that is the end of the ball game here at Petco Park. What a dramatic game we have witnessed. As your final score is 6-4. This looked like it was going to be completely out of hand at the beginning as the White Sox jumped ahead 6-1. The San Diego bullpen, a bunch of no-names, held the White Sox at bay while the offense chipped away but just could not get the tying runs across the plate, despite threatening in the 8th and 9th innings. It was Tom Gordon and before him Gary Glover who provided excellent relief for the White Sox to hold on for the victory in Game 1 of the series. As your final score is the Chicago White Sox 6 and the San Diego Padres 4. Let's take a look at some scoring. We'll start with the White Sox team batting. 11 hits and 6 runs. They did all their damage in the first 2 innings, and the bullpen made it stand up. And once again, it was the dynamic duo of Carlos Lee and Maglio Ordonez. And it was the hot hitting from Ordonez with the 2-run blast in the 2nd inning and the triple and the single that would give him the honors for hot batter for the next game. The pitching for the White Sox was really quite good. Loiaza put in 6 strong innings, did give up the 3 runs. They scored a run off Kelly Wunsch in the 8th inning, but they got scoreless performances from Marte, Glover, and Tom Gordon to finish it off in the 9th to save things. Loiaza went 6 full innings, three earned runs on 6 hits and 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. So some control issues for Loiaza made things harder than they had to be, but he will still qualify for the victory. Team batting for the Padres. They picked up 8 hits tonight, but only 3 runs. They got the home run from Khalil Green early, and the 2-run hit from Damien Jackson later in the ballgame. Jackson's 2-for-3 performance will make him the hot hitter for the next game. And Ramon Hernandez takes another 0-for-5 with 3 strikeouts. And team pitching for the Padres. It was an ugly night for Adam Eaton, as we feared. He lasted only an inning and a third, gave up 6 earned runs on 7 hits and a walk. Just an ugly pitching line for the starter. But the bullpen came in and got things done. Chris Hammond, Brian Lawrence, Rudy Siena, Scott Linebrink, Akinori Otsuka all delivered scoreless performances to keep the game close for the Padres and allow them to claw their way back into the game, although they could not get over the hump by the end of the game. And that is your final score. The Chicago White Sox 6 and the San Diego Padres 4. Game 2 of the series, as I mentioned, will take place on Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock Central Time. It will be in U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago. And for the Padres, their ace, Jake Peavy, will be on the mound, 13-7 with a 2.88 ERA. He will square off against the White Sox pitcher Bartolo Colon, 15-13 with a 3.87 ERA. So tune in on Sunday afternoon for Game 2 of this series. And if you're a fan of Heartland Championship Wrestling, we'll be online with that sometime tomorrow with West Coast Championship Wrestling featuring the stars of Ring of Honor. And as we sign off, great crowd tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. D. Scott Howard, Tenacious Strat, it's an honor to have you here. Big Clue, Brandon Baker. ID Jester made an appearance tonight. And Tribe Fan 879. And everybody else, you made it to the chat room and just lurked and hung out with us. We appreciate that. If you're watching this on the replay, we appreciate that. We'll be back in action Sunday afternoon with Game 2 of the Championship Series here in the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament. Thank you all for joining me once again. This is Dave Little from the Dave on behalf of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, signing off and saying that's our stream, and I am out of here.